Welcome to episode 4 of the Secrets of Weight Loss podcast, all about how real people lose weight successfully and keep it off. Forget the celebrities trying to endorse things and sell you stuff. Forget all the personal trainers who look super fit but have never actually been fat and tried to lose weight. This is about how real people have done it successfully. And if you haven't found a way of losing weight that works for you yet, hang in there. Make sure you subscribe because there will be something that works. No diet or weight loss program works perfectly for everyone. You just have to listen to the previous episodes to work that out. There was Beth in episode 1 who tried many different things and then she had a light bulb moment and everything just kind of fitted into place. There was Nancy in episode 3 who had weight loss surgery. Maybe you've thought about that. Maybe you want to find out more. Have a listen. This week's episode is one that intrigued me. It was all about a way of losing weight that I've never experienced and I've only ever heard bad things about it. So I wanted to talk to someone who had had a positive experience. This week I'm chatting to Shannon, a single mum from Doncaster who works for the NHS. She got so big she was afraid to go out with her son for the day for fear of what others might think of her being the big mum. That wasn't the point that she thought, right, I need to lose weight. It was a changing room situation. I'll let her tell you more about that. The views and opinions expressed by Shannon are from her own experience and not those of the Secrets of Weight Loss podcast or myself, Roberto. You can get in touch with me anytime on Facebook or Instagram. Just search Roberto Presents and you'll be able to find a fully transcribed version of this episode on our website, thesecretsofweightloss.com. Without further ado, let's meet Shannon. The Secrets of Weight Loss podcast. So Shannon, let's start as we always do with the figures. What did you weigh at your heaviest?
So I started my journey at 15 stone 6.
Okay, and what do you weigh now?
I weigh 10 stone, 1.5 pounds at the moment.
1.5. That 1.5 is very important, isn't it? That's incredible though. That's really impressive. Like just over 5 stone weight loss.
Yeah, so my target is 10 stone and I'm fluctuating.
And I bet it's that last little bit that's the hardest to like get off, right?
It is, yeah. So I did manage to get to 9 stone 6 on Slimming World, but it was the summer. So I suppose like hot weather, salads and things like that did help me get down to that weight and walking a lot more. But obviously the winter mum, she just wants to have that nice, warm, comfort food. So I'm guessing that's where.
And also this lockdown hasn't really helped with the weight, let's be honest, for a lot of people.
No, I was surprised actually. Like I said, I did get to target during the lockdown in the summer, but these winter months have hit a lot harder.
Oh, I think we're all feeling that, aren't we? But you lost 5 stone, just over 5 stone, which is incredible. Do you know what that is in dress sizes?
Yes, so I started at a size 20, and this is the main reason why I started my journey. I did go to Matalan, and I struggled to get into a size 20 trouser, and I refused to go bigger than a size 20. So then I'm now a comfortable 10, but I can get into size 8 top-wise.
And how good does that feel?
It's absolutely amazing. And I know in your other podcast, it is unbelievable what like people have said when you pull things out and you're like, God, do I really fit into that?
It's a great feeling, right? Great feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
So how long did it take you to lose all this weight then, this 5 stone, over 5 stone?
So it took me a year and 3 months, but like you said, the last hurdle is so hard. So at first the weight was dropping off me really fast, and to keep yourself motivated is the hardest part when it does slow down. So I'm glad I did it and glad I stayed and got to the end of my journey.
So let's go back to the beginning of your journey. It was when you were in Matalan that you had that moment. What actually happened?
Like I said, I refused to get to a size 22, just thinking at that age, at age of 21, being bigger than a size 20, I just couldn't comprehend. I did have a fear of like when I went out, people looking at me. I've always had anxiety of comparing myself to others. Oh. So being bigger than that,
just not a good feeling.
No.
How did you get big to start with then?
So I did put all my weight on through having my little boy. My little boy was born premature at 27 weeks and he only weighed 1 pound 8. So we did have a 4-month hospital stay, which, as you can imagine, it was where you put your money in. What are they called?
Vending machines.
Vending machines, that's it. So it was vending machine food, convenience food, microwave meals, takeaways, just to get me through the days at the hospital. But obviously after that, because of how I let myself go, I just refused to go out. So the year when I did have Reuben, I was just so embarrassed to be his mum and go outside and just isolating myself. And I feel sorry because I've not got any like childhood memories of being with Ruben when he was small, because I literally, as soon as the camera whipped out, was like, no, I don't want my photo taken. So I've got no before photos of me and Ruben. And it is sad when I look back. I think, how selfish is it that you can't even have a photo with your own child? But because of my mindset and how I was so embarrassed to be me, I couldn't comprehend looking at myself in a photo.
If you're not feeling it, you just don't want it done, do you?
No, definitely not, no.
So how is Ruben now, by the way?
Yeah, he's fine, completely fine. He's free. And as you can imagine, frees are little monkeys.
I've got a 15-month-old at the moment, and everyone tells me, right, you're heading up towards the 2-year-old, and then the 2-year-old, he gets to a nightmare.
Yeah, no, frees are even worse, believe me.
Oh, great. Thanks, Shannon. Really appreciate that. Lovely. So prior to having Ruben, you were thin? You were an average size girl, or
no? I've always been on the bigger side. About 13 stone before I had Ruben, which I don't think he's massive, but is big for the age I was. But like I said, I was just so busy comparing myself to other people. And even from a young age, when I was thin, I always looked in the mirror and thought, God, I need to lose weight. I need to do something, but never had the motivation to stick to it. I'd rather just sit and munch a sharing bar of dairy milk.
So what stuff did you try to lose weight then prior to doing what you did? Yeah,
so I've done Weight Watchers before, and I've also done the shake diets.
Oh,
yes, they're not a very good one. Not sustainable at all.
Not at all. No. So you tried Weight Watchers. What was that like?
It was all right. I don't think it's bad. It's more counting calories than it is compared to Slimming World. But I don't think you get the positive feedback and the motivation you do from attending a Slimming World group than you do a Weight Watchers group, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. I know very little about either of those, which is why I'm quite excited about talking to you today, finding out all about it and what's involved and things like that. So how long did you try Weight Watchers for? It
wasn't very long. I was only young, so it would have been about 3 months. But like I said, I just didn't, you've got to have that motivation to do something in the first place. So having that first week, a bit of a loss, and then, you're just like, oh yeah, I've lost a bit now, and then you go off it. So having the mindset to start with is the main beginning of your journey.
Why didn't you have that mindset back then? Was it because you weren't that bothered about how big you were? You're like, yeah, all right, I'm a bit big, but it doesn't really bother me. Although in the back of your mind, you had that anxiety at the same time.
Yeah, it was really strange. So like I said, I've always been big and I've always wanted to lose weight, but I've just never had the motivation because I was still young and I wanted to enjoy my life. I just didn't really care and look after the body and what I were intaking until it got, like I said, until it got to the breaking point where I just couldn't stand going out anymore.
And the shakes diet, that you did that for how long?
About 2 weeks. I did lose weight on it, not much, I'd say about 5 pounds, but it's not sustainable. I'm one of them people who are never ever full, so I could eat to my heart's content and not be full.
Is that one of the reasons you got big to start with then, you reckon? You're in hospital, nothing else to do, so I'll just carry on eating?
Yeah, I just don't know when to stop. And oh my God, chocolate, literally one square of chocolate, and I just can't. It's like Cadbury's fingers as well. Once you have one, you can't stop.
My wife is exactly the same. She's like, right, don't buy Cadbury fingers, because if there's a pack there, I've got to eat them. I can't just have one. The whole thing's got to go.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you reckon your anxiety led you to eating more as well? Always comparing yourself with others, and maybe emotional eating came into play?
Yeah, definitely. And I wasn't educated in food. I didn't know what I were inputting in my body. So I'd have a meal and then I'd have like a full tub of Ben & Jerry's, and like I'd go to Greg's and I'd have a steak bake as well as one of their big massive baguettes, and I still wouldn't be full. I would happily have another steak bake after I've finished all that.
Wow. Clearly you loved your food. Did you always eat like that when you were getting bigger?
Yes. So it was a lot of takeaways, a lot of fast food. I never stepped foot in a kitchen before I joined Slimming World, and never cooked for myself. So
really?
Yeah, never ever cooked.
And that's all changed now then? Because, well, you've mentioned it already. How you lost your weight was with Slimming World. And I know it can be quite time consuming, all the food prep, right?
It is, yeah. It's a lot of prepping, a lot of planning, but it's worth it to eat good, healthy, nutritious food. What's going to help you lose weight. It is all worthwhile. So
you tried Weight Watchers and the shakes stuff. What was it like when you went to Slimming World?
Like I said, I've got quite I've got a bit of anxiety. So I did have to join with my mum. So me and my mum walked through them Slimming World doors, and like, it was so daunting. I just felt like the biggest person in the room walking in, that everybody were looking at me. And it is scary going to them groups, but I feel like once you've stepped foot in there, you can achieve anything. So I went in there, went home, and I remember crying to my mum like, oh my God, I don't understand this. It's so confusing. I don't know what I'm doing. And I got to group after my first week and I lost 5.5 pounds. I'm like, oh my God, how? Like, I've ate like nice food. What is this about?
You lost £5.5 in a week?
Yes, £5.5 in a week.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, half a stone in 2 weeks and a stone in 4 weeks.
Were you doing any exercise?
No, I've not done any exercise through the whole journey. I've only just started now, as I was saying on my story previously, because I feel like I need a healthy balance between being able to eat, a bit more lenient. So a bit of exercise has been introduced now.
So do you still follow the Slimming World eating plans now? Are you still a member of Slimming World?
Yes, I'm still a member. I weigh in every Thursday.
Is it going to be part of your life forevermore, do you think, going to these Slimming World meetings?
I have been thinking about counting calories, but I just feel like it's such hard work putting them into the app and figuring every meal out and things, when everything on Slimming World, so all your meat, all your veg, all your fruit is free. So you can, and your carbs as well. So you can eat as much as that as you want, and you don't have to put it in an app and work it all out and work how many calories you got left for the day. It's just a lot easier doing Slimming World, I find. You
mentioned some of the food there and things being free. We'll talk more about the food in Slimming World in a second, but do you have to pay to go to these meetings?
You do, yeah. So it's $4.95, but when you are a Target member, it's free.
And obviously you're a Target member because, well, you've hit your target. So what happens when you join Slimming World then?
So when you join, you have a little discussion and she goes through the book with you, man or woman, goes through all the food you can eat. So you can eat all your meat, all lean meat without the fat on, your veg, your fruit, which is classed as speed. So the more speed you eat, the quicker your weight loss is going to be. And then you can eat all your potatoes, all your pasta, rice, so on. So you get a healthy extra B, which is like your bread or your cereal choice. And then you get 2 healthy extra A's as well, which is your dairy allowance. So you could use that on cheese, on milk, and things like that.
I'm confused just listening to you there. Your A's, your B's, your speeds. It sounds really confusing. You said counting calories would be hard, but I don't know. In my mind, I think counting calories would be easier than that. Is it quite easy to understand?
Once you've got your head round it, it is easy. And it's knowing what is your healthy extra B and what is your A, and then you've got your Syns. So like your chocolate and your crisps and things like that, you have to sin, and you get 15 Syns a day. So if I was to eat, I think a Freddo's like 4 Syns, I'd take that off my daily allowance. But I could eat as much carbs, as much speed, protein as I like.
What's speed?
So speed is like your lettuce, your tomatoes, your it's a consistency between fruit and veg. So the more speed you eat, they always say you need to aim for 1/3 of your plate filled with speed. So just literally all salad stuff, basically.
Okay, so you get these A's, the B's, the speeds,
and Syns.
The Syns.
Yes.
Do you think you've been educated in what food to eat with all these things?
I feel like Slimming World is like a calorie counting diary for someone who is beginning to look into losing weight. So I think it's a lot easier than calorie counting. And I think a few people will agree with me. It puts everything into a balanced diet of what you're allowed and what you're not allowed.
Do they talk about calories when they're talking about food, or is it all about your A's, B's?
No, they don't go into calories or things like that, which is why I've drifted a bit from Slimming World, and I am looking into calorie counting, because there's cereal bars called Hi-Fi bars, and they're around 70 calories each. So you're allowed 2 of them a day as your healthy extra B. So 140 calories. But if you got a bread bun, which was 140 calories, that would not class as your healthy extra B. So to me, that I'm like, well, it's not different, which before I would have like, oh God, no, don't have that bread bun. It's not on plan. It's not this. But like I said, I am trying to be a bit more lenient with my food, and take calories into consideration. But I think without the help of Slimming World putting food in perspective at the beginning, I wouldn't have been even looked at calories. So
it's been a good starting point for you, not knowing anything about food and what's good and bad. It has given you an education kind of thing.
It has definitely educated me.
And what about the meetings then? Because I've heard really quite awful things about these meetings and how intimidating they can be. Oh, you've heard some of the other podcasts.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. How intimidating they can be, and what's it really like?
So I've always had a really positive experience with my Slimming World group, and my consultant is absolutely amazing. And I think it all boils down to the consultant and how she's educating you, how she's feeding back, not putting you on the spot, not making you feel down. So it is a lot to do with the consultant. And I think for some consultants, it is a money game, but for others, they do put the care and the love into, well, the clients basically, aren't they? So they're putting the money and the time in. So they'll text you through the week, how are you? They'll send you little notifications, little messages to see how you're doing and how you're getting on, which I think when you are beginning, that's what counts. And the sense of achievement you get from Slimming World. I know a lot of people have seen this as a negative, where someone is getting Slimmer of the Week every week and it might be like, oh, I'll never get that. But you do get praise for every pound, every half a pound you lose. So to me, it's just like being in school. You can't win everything, but if you're doing better than you was, that all boils down to you as a person and giving yourself like recognition for losing weight. But yeah, the certificates and things just keep you going. And I feel like concentrating on the main goal at the end is really difficult, and Slimming World helps you focus on the little ones in between. So you get a certificate for every half a stone you lose. So you get to focus on like a bit of your journey rather than the big thing. And then eventually, like mine flew by because I was like, God, I need to get to my 3.5 stone. Oh, now I need to get to my 4 stone. And
so those certificates helped you keep on going, and it gave you something else to aim for.
100%. So I've got them all displayed on a big wall where I've won Miss Slinky, Woman of the Year. I've got Slimmer of the Week, Slimmer of the Month, and then I've got all my stone awards as well. And it's just so nice to reflect back on how far you've come. And I've got my before photos on my wall to remind me not to go back to that stage.
I think they're really important, before photos. I find those helpful. Having a photo of what I used to look like and going, right, no, I don't ever want to look like that again or be that size again.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think the certificates and the meetings kept you going? If it wasn't for them, do you think you would have lasted so long in Slimming World?
I'm one of them who needs praise, who needs to feel like I am doing well. So to get them certificates felt like, you get stickers as well. And it's like you're a big kid and you're like, oh my God, I need another sticker. I need this, I need that. So yeah, I did need the praise. I did need the claps to keep me going and keep me motivated. And that's the best thing about growing to group, because it's not only an achievement, it's what you gain from other people, the recipes you gain. See, like looking at other people's journeys even and how far they've come. And you look at them at the beginning and then some members who are here now and it's like, oh my, they look like completely different person. And if that's not a sense to keep going, I don't know what is.
When you first joined then, do you go there with an idea of how much weight you want to lose, or do they sit with you and work out a realistic target, or what?
Yeah, when you first join, you get your target weight, what you want to be. But then you do get an award when you've lost 10% of your body weight as well, which is a nice achievement as well. And after you've got that, then I think you get a week free after being on it for 5 weeks or something. It's like staying there for 5 weeks.
So you get that side of it from the groups. You mentioned earlier on that before going to Slimming World, you hadn't stepped foot in the kitchen.
Yes. I was a very, very fussy before Slimming World. I would literally live off chicken and then chips. And my signature meal was beans on toast. I could not cook at all. And literally, now I feel like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen.
That good. Wow. I like it. So what do you get in the form of support from Slimming World then that's made you such a brilliant cook? Do you get recipes and guides and stuff like that, or what?
You do. So in the Slimming World group, they do sell recipe books, their own versions, which tells you the sin values and what's free, what's speed and things like that. And they're like £5 per book. And they've got some really fantastic recipes in. I've got one where you literally just need 5 ingredients for each recipe. And as a single mum, on your own, you want the cheapest way. So that book is absolutely fantastic. But
do you spend a lot of time prepping food then?
I wouldn't say now. At the beginning, I did because I was still learning the ropes and things. So I used to plan my meals down, what I'm having each week, go to the shop, buy everything and then cook it. The good thing, what I've learned to do is because I'm on my own, I have loads of leftovers and I find getting my dinners ready for work is one of the hardest. You know, variety is key to losing weight, having different foods, different meals. So I used to take the leftovers of last night's tea for dinner at work. And I still do that now. So I'm not wasting my weekends prepping hundreds of meals because I couldn't think about worse standing in, especially in summer, standing in the kitchen for 3 hours prepping 4 different meals to stick in my freezer.
You mentioned variety in there. Is there quite a lot of variety or is it the same thing week in, week out?
Oh, no. I've always been strict with myself and always changed my meal plan every single week. So I'm not having the same foods. I might go back to that meal plan, but yeah, I think variety is key to losing weight.
I like the idea there's lots of meals. It doesn't seem very restrictive.
Yeah, that's the whole point in Slim World. They say it's food optimizing. You should never class it as a diet. And to be honest, I don't class it as a diet because you can eat I eat the same foods what I used to when I was big, but cooked by myself and I know what goes in it. So I'll have like a fake away KFC burger and it'll be all on plan. And
a fake away KFC burger?
Yeah, so you use Doritos, you use your corn flour and things like that. I think it's like 2.5 Syns. So taking that off your daily allowance of 15 and everything else being free, you think, God, it's like best thing to real thing, really.
I think I need to try a fake away KFC. I like the sound of that. I want to jump back to the meetings quickly. What's it like when you get weighed in these meetings? Because that happens, obviously.
Oh, yeah, God. I've always been strict with myself where I've never weighed myself at home. And I feel like a lot of people do have a sneaky weigh-in, and which puts them off going to group. But yeah, the person at the weigh-in counter, depending on who you get, they're like, you've gained this week, you've done this. But
oh, so you don't have a public weigh-in? I had this vision in my head of a public weigh-in in front of everyone.
No, no one knows your weight. No one knows your target weight. If you've gained, they don't announce it. It's not like, oh God, Shannon's put 5 pounds on this week. What are you going to do next week? It's just, here's Shannon. She's lost 5.5 pounds and everybody will clap. You've seen a gain this week. So it's always positive to start with. And then if you have gained and you're not happy with it, you look into ways of achieving and helping yourself that week, which is where you get ideas from the rest of the group, what you're going to change and things.
It sounds also like a little bit of therapy when you go.
It is. Yeah, it is therapy. And people go around and express how they're feeling, what struggles they're having that week, what's going on. So I don't know, like it might be the skin week, so they're struggling with the shop. So we'll suggest like what they could do, what they could eat, where they could shop at to still be on plan and still lose weight.
Have you made new friends through the groups as well?
Oh, definitely. Loads and loads of new friends. Yeah.
I just want to go back to the weighing thing a second. You mentioned that you didn't weigh yourself at home. Are you encouraged not to weigh yourself at home and just weigh in at the meetings?
I think it's unhealthy weighing yourself every day, which is personally why I don't. You are encouraged not to weigh yourself before weighing because everybody's scales are different. So your scales might be saying that you've had a 3 pound loss and then you got to Slimming World and it's only 2. So you'll be disappointed then. So I think just restricting yourself to one weigh-in per week is not, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, you get obsessed otherwise, don't you? I used to weigh myself every Monday morning, once a week, and then leave it till the next week. Otherwise, you'd be all over the place because your weight fluctuates.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Slimming World is. So I used to go on a Thursday night, weigh myself on a Thursday night. That's it. I will not. I'll stay to plan for the rest of the week. And after every single weigh-in, I can say I've always had a takeaway as well.
Excuse me? A takeaway's allowed?
They don't recommend it. But I have always, from day one, had a takeaway. So I'll weigh myself at 7, get home for about 8:30 and order myself a takeaway.
Was that kind of like your guilty pleasure then? The one thing that you couldn't give up whilst doing Slimming World?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, because I think it's always you've got to live your life still. You've got to enjoy food. And after having a week on plan, I did fancy a Chinese. I did fancy a big fat pizza after I got weighed. So that's what I did. And I didn't feel guilty for it because the next day I was back on plan and I was eating the Slimming World food again.
Did you go off plan often, apart from on a Thursday night?
No. So after my Thursday night binge, that I felt like happy with that. So then it's not recommended and my consultant doesn't advise it to everyone. But after I had my takeaway, I did keep my Syns lower than the average range to counteract which in some respectives goes towards calories as well. Because if you think about if you're having a lot of calories in one night, you don't want to eat loads of calories for the rest of the week. So that's why Syns and calories are very, very similar. So yeah, I used to keep my Syns between 5 and 8 for the rest of the week then, just so I could have a takeaway each week.
In the guidance that you got about food for Slimming World, did they say don't have takeaways, don't have this, don't have that? Or was everything covered under your A's, B's, your Syns, all that jazz?
There's no food off limit with Slimming World. Obviously, when you do go out for meals and things like that, they always tell you to be food optimizing and choose the best dish. But I'd say if you save your Syns and things like that and keep your Syns low, then it won't be a massive like a dramatic gain on the scales then. But no, they do have the book and all the Syn values are in there and on the app as well. So you can always check what meal, like they always recommend if you order Chinese that you get chicken in black bean sauce, but you know, you want crispy chili, you want the full works, that you want chow mein.
You really do, don't you? If you're going to go big with the Chinese, you want to go all out. You don't want to try and do a healthy one, do you?
No, definitely not.
So you didn't give up your guilty pleasures then whilst you were doing your Slimming World journey? If you did have a guilty pleasure, you then balanced it out?
The only thing I did give up was chocolate. And I gave that up for the first 3 months because I didn't have any self-control. I could not control myself when it came to chocolate. And like I said, one little bar, I'd just have to demolish the full thing. So I did restrict myself and it got to the point where I did ease it back into my life. So it sounds weird now, but I can have 1 cube, 1 square of chocolate and like, that's enough. I don't need any more now. Because I'm thinking,
wow.
Yeah, and you think about the Syns, like in terms of calories, you think about the Syns, you think about the calories in the bar, and you don't want to demolish the full thing because you don't want to gain weight.
You've got that self-control over chocolate now. That's brilliant.
That's it. Yeah, that's the best part of this journey, that I've been able to restrict myself with chocolate.
That is fantastic.
He's just coming up though.
Good luck is all I'll say. I think I know the answer to this next question. Your one secret to weight loss then would be Slimming World.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And you said at the beginning you went there with your mum. Did your mum lose weight as well?
My mum did lose weight at first. Yeah. My mum finds it hard to stick to plan because she's older. Losing it is a lot slower when you are older. So she has found it difficult, but she's on and off plan. She's on it at the minute. So I'm here supporting her now in her weight loss journey.
Well, that must be incredible for her though, to see how far you've come.
Oh yeah, she's so proud of me and everything I've done. I'm a different person to when I was big, and I'm not that person anymore.
You haven't got your anxiety anymore? You don't care what other people think?
No, I do. I am not bothered one single bit. I were in a job I didn't like. I managed to get a new job where I feel really comfortable. I'm not embarrassed to go out with my son and have fun. I can have my photo taken. And it's weird having my photo taken now because I'm so scared of what I'm going to see back. But now I'm like, is that me? Like the first, I remember losing about 4 stone and my mum took a photo of me and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually thin.
It's a crazy feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I have this image in my head that I'm still this big guy, but then I see a picture and I'm like, oh no, you're not actually that big anymore. It's really strange.
It is very much so. And I'm just happy and content with my body now, which I've never ever had a feeling of.
I think we'll end it there because that is just a a lovely point to finish on, how good you're feeling after losing all this weight. Thank you for your time today, telling me all about Slimming World. It's been an eye-opener for me, and for you sharing your weight loss story with us as well.
No, thank you for inviting me.
If you want to see more of Shannon, check out her Instagram page. I mean, she's always posting pictures of her food that looks so tasty. Like, if you need some food inspiration, definitely have a look. SW_Shabba is where you'll find her on Instagram. I'm Roberto. Thank you for joining me this week. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch up next week where we've got another great inspirational weight loss story for you. Thanks for listening. Find out more at thesecretsofweightloss.com.